Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into a story that's definitely stirred up some curiosity, maybe even some concern in the golf world. We are talking about L.A.B. Golf, the company that really shook things up with their putter tech. And their recent sale, kind of unexpected maybe, to this big private equity firm, L Catterton. So our mission today is to unpack the why. Why this move? What's it mean for L.A.B, for you golfers out there, and, well, the whole industry? We're going to explore vision, scale, and just the realities of growing a business these days. Okay, so to really get this, let's look at L.A.B Golf's journey, how they got here. They started out as this, passionate idea, real outsiders, and they pretty quickly became this market-shaping brand, kind of redefining putter technology. I mean, the growth numbers are pretty wild, something like an estimated 130,000 putters sold just in 2024. And they're projecting triple-digit growth. That's huge.
It really is. Massive trajectory. But what's fascinating, and kind of the crux of it,
Oh,
is that while that scrappy, authentic vibe helped them break in, disrupt an industry that was pretty set in its ways, their internal setup, just a lean team, really, it just couldn't keep up. It started to creak.
right. Success creating its own problem.
Exactly. Think about it. That making it up as we go thing is great early on, but at that scale, it means maybe inconsistent processes, putting out fires instead of planning. You just hit a ceiling.
Okay, so
They needed professional systems, a global plan, serious financial backing to keep growing. It raises that question, doesn't it? When does that pure passion kind of hit its limit without, more structured support?
yeah, definitely paints a picture of a company just outgrowing its initial skin. And that's where a firm like L Catterton comes in. But they're not just any private equity firm, right? What makes them different?
That's a really key point here.
Yeah.
L Catterton, their build is the world's largest consumer-focused private equity firm, huge assets, over $37 billion.
Okay, so big players.
Right. But what supposedly sets them apart, and why L.A.B's founders went with them, is their stated focus on the product and the brand, not just cutting costs for a quick flip.
Interesting distinction.
Yeah, they talk about sustainable growth, long-term innovation, keeping the company's vision alive. They often bring in operational specialists, help with supply chains, distribution, stuff beyond just writing a check.
So more hands-on than just finance.
That's the pitch. And crucially, they insisted the original leadership team stay. That was apparently a big deal.
To keep the vision intact.
Exactly. It kind of pushes back against that typical image of a PE takeover.
Okay, that is interesting. So the sale itself reportedly valuing L.A.B at $200 million. It's obviously a huge marker. A new chapter. And you mentioned the original team admitting they were making it up as they went along. Fun, maybe, but not sustainable.
Not at that scale, no.
So what does this new ownership actually mean? Like tangible benefits for the business and maybe more importantly for the customer.
Right. The goal is to, quote, shore up the business end, fortify the infrastructure. So for you, the customer, the promise is things like better product quality,
Right.
more consistency,
Okay.
improved lead times, getting your putter faster,
That's always good.
and faster, smoother handling of any service issues. For retailers globally, it means more predictability, reliability, easier to stock and sell worldwide.
Right. Makes sense for expansion.
Behind the scenes, they're bringing in experienced pros, logistics, production, customer experience people. But, and this is the key message they're pushing, they want to do all this while keeping that L.A.B spirit, that kind of rebellious edge.
Keep the soul alive, so to speak.
That's the tightrope they have to walk.
Yeah, because those tangible benefits sound good, but you always hear concerns when a brand like this sells. We definitely saw it online, right? People worried it'll lose its soul.
Oh, absolutely. Understandable backlash.
That connection golfers felt was really personal. Some saw it as like a betrayal. Others were more like, okay, this had to happen.
Yeah, and the leadership team, they addressed those fears head on. They basically said the deal wasn't taken lightly at all. In fact, they kind of framed it as an inevitability.
An inevitability. Wow.
Yeah, which makes you think, okay, what exactly did they need that was so massive?
Right. What kind of investment or infrastructure?
Exactly. What huge capital needs, what global operations setup did they require that the startup way just couldn't deliver anymore?
And that's where L Catterton comes in again.
Precisely. It's not just the money. It's access to what they call strategic accelerators.
Accelerators, like tools and connections.
Yeah, could be proprietary market analysis tools, could be plugging into their network for distribution deals, maybe shared services like high-level logistics planning.
Stuff a smaller company just couldn't access on its own.
Right, like building international build centers, for example. That's a huge undertaking.
Okay, explain that a bit. build centers.
So instead of making everything in one place and shipping it worldwide, you set up regional hubs. They could do final assembly, customization, closer to the customer.
Ah, so cuts down shipping time, import costs.
Exactly. Makes the product way more accessible internationally.
Mm,
But it takes serious capital and expertise to set that up.
gotcha. That requires a partner with deep pockets and know-how.
Definitely. Something like L Catterton brings that scale.
So the plan then is this sort of merger, L.A.B.'s unique culture, that creative outsider vibe,
Uh-huh.
merged with this new operational muscle.
Yeah.
The hope being you keep the magic, the energy that made L.A.B. stand out.
That's the goal.
But it sounds tricky, right? How do you keep that indie spirit when you're backed by, well, big finance?
It's the $1 million question, or maybe the $200 million question here. The leadership keeps stressing, this wasn't about ditching their core values. It was about enabling the future. Long-term growth, being a real global player, staying ahead technologically.
Keeping that innovation edge.
Right. The commitment, they say, is still delivering the most advanced putters, but doing it on a bigger stage while staying true to where they came from.
Mm.
If you zoom out, it's that classic challenge, isn't it?
Mhm.
How do you scale up something people love
Yeah.
without losing the very thing that made them love it in the first place? It's about balancing growth and authenticity.
So let's wrap this up. What does this all mean, bottom line? For us golfers, for the industry, we've seen this arc. Passion, huge growth, the pressures that come with it,
Yeah.
leading to this really strategic, potentially game-changing decision.
Yeah, you could say this sale closes chapter 1 for L.A.B. Golf.
Yeah.
Definitely. And look, the future's uncertain. Always is.
Yeah.
But there's also a ton of promise here.
Right.
You still got the founder-led vision supposedly driving things. But now they have the backing of a major global partner with all those resources and connections.
So they're positioned to innovate again, maybe?
But bigger. Potentially, yeah. Redefine things again, but on a global scale this time. Which brings up a really interesting thought for you, the listener, to chew on. How do you feel about this? How do you balance wanting a brand you like to grow, offer better stuff, better service, with that kind of gut-level anxiety when corporate ownership comes in? What does authenticity even look like for a brand that's suddenly everywhere, when it's not that small, scrappy thing anymore?
Yeah, that's a great question. What is authenticity in a global business world? Definitely something interesting to ponder as we keep exploring business and innovation.